Good morning, cats. Had a little bit of rain last night, and we're expected to get more rain today. There's a pretty good chance that within 2 or 3 hours it's going to be pouring down rain again. And that's fine because we need it. The leaves are dropping off of the trees already. Some places a little more than others. I ground all those leaves up a couple days ago, and there's twice as many on the ground now. But they're too wet right now to do anything with, so that's going to be put on hold. You know, there's a little community, a village actually, not too far from here, called Chippewa Lake. And Chippewa Lake, the lake itself, is one of the only natural lakes in Ohio. Most all the other lakes in Ohio are either man-made reservoirs or dug lakes, man-made lakes. This one's a natural lake, and it's a pretty good-sized lake. Chippewa Lake was known for an amusement park that was started in 1878, and I believe it went all the way through till 1978 when it finally closed down. A lot of people have fond memories of the place, bringing their kids and families there. But over the years, it kind of deteriorated. There was a big dance hall there, and they used to have the big name bands there, Tommy Dorsey and those kind of guys. The dance hall burned down, actually. If you go there today, the amusement park itself is been closed down, since 1978. So it's completely overgrown. A lot of the amusement stuff has been removed. But I think the rusted frame of the Ferris wheel is still there in the woods. But it's all owned by the county park system now. And I was told that they're going to put a foot trail through there with some historical signage, to kind of tell you a little bit about the amusement park itself. Anyways, yesterday I went to a Cleveland Browns football party down there in Chippewa Lake to a gal that I know was hosting this party. And there was a bunch of my friends there. And it was just your typical football party, with all the food and the hors d'oeuvres, the dessert table. I mean, there was tons of food there. And the drinks were flowing like water, which I did not indulge in. I was there for the game, for the food, just for a good time, and for a little bit of socializing. And really, nobody got wildly out of hand or anything. But anyway, it was a really nice day yesterday, and I rode the Ultra to Chippewa Lake. Her place is at the end of a little narrow lane, and there isn't a whole lot of room for vehicle traffic down in there, other than, just your own personal vehicle. So I took the bike knowing that parking was going to be limited. And the lane kind of has a little downhill grade towards her house, and her house is right at the end of the lane, and there's a set of steps that goes down to her front porch. So, if you keep going off the end of the lane, you'll drop right into her backyard, which kind of drops down over a hill. So I had turned the bike around, and I had pulled it off on the side of the lane and parked it in line with about 3 other bikes that were there. No problem. I went in and, started socializing, had a plate of food, watched the games. By the way, the Browns won. They pulled it out within the last few seconds. They won by a field goal. They used to call them the heart attack kids, because right up to the end of the game, the score was tied, and somehow they managed to win the game. But anyway, that was fun. Well, after the game, I was sitting there in the living room, and this gal walks in, and she said, "Are you Mark?" I don't know who this gal was. She says, I said, "Yeah." And she said, "You're wanted outside. Your presence is needed out there." And right away I thought, uh-oh, what's this all about? I mean, I'm here, my motorcycle is out there. What do they want me outside for? Yeah. Somebody want to meet me out there? Anyways, I walk outside and I look up the hill where my bike was parked on the side of the lane, and there was a group of about 5 guys standing around my bike. And I thought, oh, okay, they probably just are looking at my bike, and they probably got some questions they wanted to ask me. So I go up there, and the guy says, "Is this your bike?" I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Well, it got knocked over." What? Well, there, not just across the lane from my bike was a golf cart that was pushed into another Harley Davidson. And there was an old man sitting on the golf cart, and he was just sitting there smiling, kind of oblivious. They told me, they said, "This guy's a local. He wasn't invited to the party, and he's not part of the party, the football party, but he had gotten in this golf cart, and he had driven down the lane, turned around, and when he went to leave, he floored the golf cart. He hit my bike, pushed it over, and then swerved across the street and bumped into this other guy's bike." They said the man had a stroke a few years ago, and he was mentally disabled. So, number one, he had no business being in a golf cart. Was not even able to properly operate a golf cart, but here he was, and now he was in this accident, so to say. And the guy was not all there. So what are you going to do? I mean, I couldn't even talk to the guy, really, and what the heck? I mean, your first instinct is you want to go over there and, give him 2 cents worth, but the guy's sitting there, like everything was fine. Well, luckily, the other guy's bike wasn't damaged at all. The guys looked over my bike really carefully. He had to hit it on the rear end here or on the side somewhere. There's not a scratch or a sign that it was hit anywhere. I mean, they went over it with a fine-tooth comb and they couldn't find anything. But I'll tell you what did happen. When he pushed the bike forward, my jiffy stand was on asphalt, and it dug into the asphalt and it snapped off the end of the jiffy stand. So here's the jiffy stand, the kickstand for the bike. And on the end of it here, there's this square piece that is actually part of the jiffy stand. And then it slides up into a bracket underneath the bike. And this piece slips over there. And then this bolt, this broken bolt, screws through everything and holds it onto the bike. So as you can see, it just snapped right off there. The whole this whole threaded assembly that goes right on there, that's actually part of this integral piece, is broken off. So now I have no choice but to buy a new jiffy stand. Somebody said, well, your insurance would probably cover that, which I have the bike fully insured. However, there was no report taken, and I didn't want to make a report. I mean, the guy was... The guy doesn't have any money. The golf cart was a piece of junk, And, what are you going to do? They got him out of there. They sent him on his way. And really the only damages was that Jiffy stand on my bike was broke. So they put the Jiffy stand, they wedged it up in there, and were able to hold, get my bike back up. It was laying on this side. When they looked over this whole side, fortunately it landed in the grass. So there wasn't even, any dirt, no scratches on it anywhere. These are bug splotches on there, by the way. There wasn't anything down. This highway peg was twisted in. This bracket twisted in, and it's up against the fairing there. So that's fine. But there really wasn't any other damages because it just rolled over into the grass. So I was fortunate about that. Again, they looked it over. I looked it over. I don't see any damages to it at all, other than the broken Jiffy stand. So here was the problem, though. As soon as I leaned the bike up to leave, the Jiffy stand falls on the ground because there's no bolt there anymore to hold it in place. So I says, well, gee whiz, now what happens? I get home. I mean, I can take off from the party, fine, but when I get home, what do I do when I pull into the garage? I have no kickstand. I have no way to set my bike up. What am I going to do? Well, a couple people said, well, we'll follow you. We'll follow you home. We'll help you out. And then there was one couple there, some friends of mine. They followed me all the way back here. And then I leaned the bike up and he fit the kickstand back up in there and we let the bike over and it sat there last night. So this morning I put it up on the lift. The kickstand, as soon as I started cranking the lift up, the kickstand fell on the ground. So there wasn't much. I don't know, you can probably see right in there. That's where the kickstand fits into that little slot there. So without the bolt or this actual stop, this is what holds the kickstand on actually. Without this, you can see that thing just slid right out of the bracket. There's nothing to hold it. There's nothing to hold it on there. So that's about $160. I'm going to guess plus tax. Who knows, it might even be more. I don't know. So I wasn't happy about it, but you know what? Sometimes things just happen and you don't know why they happen and you don't know how it happened and it doesn't make any sense. Like, what was this guy doing in his golf cart? Why did he ride down there and then turn around? And then why did he, if he made it down that far, how did he lose control? And they said he actually floored the golf cart and whacked into my bike and then veered off and hit the other bike. So how does that even happen? I don't know. He was sent on his way home, and I don't know. Hopefully he made it back home okay. I have no idea. But is what it is. So today I'm going to check with the local dealer and see if they have a Jiffy stand in stock. If not, I'm going to have to order one online. And who knows how long that'll take to get here, unless I express it. Because my son and I were wanting to go riding this week. He's going to take the Fat Boy. I was going to take the Ultra. We were going to go out and do breakfast together. So until I get a kickstand on that Ultra, I won't be going anywhere on it. So yeah. Well, there sure won't be any riding today. I tried to get get a hold of the dealership to see if they had a kickstand for me, but they're not even open today, so gotta wait till tomorrow. If I order it online, then I'm stuck waiting for the delivery, which could take a week or so. So I'll just wait till tomorrow, see what the dealer has. But in the meantime, we're finally getting some rain. A couple people asked me how the new seat is on the bike. This is a Saddleman. I don't remember exactly what model it is. It does have a gel pad in there. So it's comfortable. It's not as luxurious as the stock seat, you know, and I don't have the lumbar support. When I crank on the throttle, there's not much of a backrest there, and it pushes you back in the seat. This thing really has got some torque, and it really takes off. The other thing I did is I had this piece of buffalo hide that I bought, and I trimmed it, cut it, I soaked it in water, and then I pressed it on here so it kind of goes to the contour of the bike, at least this part. It's sticking up a little bit back here. I don't know if I didn't soak it long enough, but it's good enough. I think it looks really nice on there. I don't have a problem with it at all. And if I had to have a passenger, she could ride on the fender, sit her butt right there, and still have her foot pads to put her feet onto. So, yeah. I've ridden a couple times with the new seat so far, and I like it. It's comfortable. But like I said, it doesn't quite have the amount of cushion that the stock seat had. My stock seat's still over here. I think I'm going to take that down in the basement. I got all the pieces and parts here, you know, the tour pack brackets, the backrest bracket. So I'm going to take that. I put the backrest and stuff in the tour pack over here. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that because that thing weighs a ton, and I don't want to carry it all the way up to the house and then all the way down in the basement and put it in a back room back there. Because if I want to use it, I want to have it handy where I can get it. Now, I know you guys have said, well, they make racks, and I'm well aware of that. They do make racks for these. But again, you know, I'm looking around my garage and I'm thinking, well, where would I put a rack for that where it wouldn't be in the way, because it's still going to be there, but it's going to be up maybe about that high. I don't know. I might consider the rack. I've looked at them. I know what they are. But I just haven't pulled a trigger on that one yet either. So, still raining outside. It was actually hailing a little bit ago. I mean, it was like there were severe thunderstorms pinging on my phone, on my Alexa. Yeah, everything was going nuts there for a while. I think the thunderstorm is gone, though. The hail and all the severe weather is gone. Right now, we're just into... There's a puddle of water on the floor there. Wonder where that came from. It had to come in from outside because there wasn't any water there earlier. I just noticed it, a puddle of water there. So, which I find kind of odd. Something had to leak here. Well, there it is. My rug is soaking wet. So it must have pooled up in front of the door there when it was severely raining and the water came in. Well, that's something new. I mean, that was a downpour. That was a torrential downpour. I'm interested to go down front and look and see what it's still raining, but I'm interested to see what my stream is doing down there, because sometimes I get a flood down there where it comes over the pipes, but I don't see it coming over the pipes down there. So I think we're good, but I'm sure the stream is running. Well, like I said, this foot peg is pushed all the way in to where it's touching the fairing there. And it didn't really bend anything or hurt anything. It just twisted on the mount there, and I could loosen that up. But I don't want to torque on this thing because it's up on my jack stand. And I mean, it's not going anywhere, but you see some rock there. I'm not going to push my luck and start wrenching on things and then have the whole bike come crashing down off of this lift. I mean, it's an old Craftsman, but it still works pretty good, and it slings underneath the entire bottom frame of the bike and picked it up really nicely. So it'll be easy for me to put the kickstand back on when I get it. The other thing I need to do, it's a never-ending job, is getting all these bugs off of the bike. I mean, every time I take it out, I get splattered with bugs. They get on my headlight and on my front fender here. So, yeah, the bug season's almost over. They're even stuck on my radiator grill there. So, I've got to wash the thing. But I can't do it in here in the garage. Once I get the kickstand back on it, I'll take it outside, get the hose out, wash the thing, clean it down. I noticed I got a lot of handprints on the bike. I see fingerprints up here. I see an arm print there. I see more handprints over here. So when my bike went over in the grass, there was like 5 guys there, and they had picked it back up before I even knew what happened. I was down at the house watching a football game, and they were standing up there by the bike, so they watched it happen. They knew exactly what happened, and they were real quick to pick my bike up and get it set back up again. But they even picked up the broken pieces for me. So yeah, I got a cleanup job. I had I left the party yesterday afternoon. Because after I got this home and got it set up, I took the fat boy and I went back to the football party and got more food to eat for dinner and the whole thing. And then I'm looking at the radar and I see that there was rain in the forecast, so I jumped on the bike, started heading home, and got caught in the rain. And, had those drops stinging my cheeks all the way home. I mean, that little windshield does help a lot, but your head's still, somewhat up above the windshield. So I did catch some rain, and I expected the bike to be a little dirtier. I mean, it did pick up some stuff. The road spray, on the chrome down below there in the front of the motor. The pipes got splattered up with road spray. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. So there. Another baptism by rain. Look at this. 1 mouse, 2 mouse. In 1 day. I mean, I check these every day. I checked them yesterday. They're still coming in. I do have some new seals that should come tomorrow for the garage doors. So I'm going to replace all the rubber seals. And it should fill in these holes where the mice are coming in from. So unless they chew through the new rubber seal, they won't be able to get in anymore. I hate this. I really hate this. The other day I caught one that was almost as big as a rat. It was a mouse. I've never seen a mouse that big before. But I caught it, and it caught the trap, and then it dragged the trap all the way to the other side of the garage. It took a while. It was a big animal. So, oh boy, still coming down, and it's supposed to come down the rest of the day. So my work's done in here. There's nothing more I can do till tomorrow. And then hopefully tomorrow I'll have something to do. Hopefully tomorrow I can get a new kickstand. They call it a jiffy stand, and I've always called the kickstand on a bike a kickstand. I don't know where the term jiffy stand came from. But when you go online to order these things, sometimes it'll say kickstand, and sometimes it'll say jiffy stand. I don't know. Maybe I'm just old school, But back in the day, there wasn't such a thing as a jiffy stand. So, at least not in my neck of the woods. I think I'm going to call this one a wrap. Head in the house. Fix myself a burger or something. And call it a day. Yuck. Thanks for your support. Thanks for watching. Till next time, cats, I'll catch you later.